everybody, and welcome to Boston Balling. I'm your host, Gabby Hurlbut. Hope everyone's having a great start to the week. Happy Tuesday. It's actually starting to get a little cooler. The weather here was kind of unbearably brutal for a couple of weeks there, but now it's getting to be a little bit cooler, so that's nice. I think we're starting to, really sense that the fall is coming, so that's really exciting. Definitely lots to talk about. I'm really excited to have a special guest with me on this episode. He is a fellow Ithaca Bomber, played baseball there, and now plays for the Yankees as an outfielder. Tim Locastro, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I'm happy we can finally get this going on here.
Yeah, seriously, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said to you before, us Bombers usually stick together. That's just
absolutely. That's why we had to make this work any way we could.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But just excited to have you. I know it's really cool to kind of think about you and your story and how you got to where you are. So I definitely want to dive into a little bit of that. But first, I just kind of wanted to hear a little bit from you about kind of your backstory, where you grew up and how your baseball passion kind of started.
Yeah, I grew up in Auburn, New York, probably about 45 minutes away from Ithaca. Growing up, my dad, my cousins, they were all huge baseball fans. We all loved the Yankees growing up. They played baseball. So I was around baseball my whole life. Probably started playing when I was 4 years old, probably even earlier, had a bat in my hand. I remember all my friends, they all used to play lacrosse because in upstate New York, lacrosse is like huge. And they were all trying to get me to play lacrosse. And I was like, never about it. My dad wouldn't let me put a lacrosse stick in my hand. So I was baseball all the way, 100%.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so funny. That's funny you say that because I did kind of notice that when I went to school up there, everybody was so into lacrosse in the surrounding area.
It's crazy. I'd say upstate New York's, if not 50-50, maybe like 60-40 lacrosse now, which is insane to me. Because growing up as a kid, everybody played baseball. And then you sort of just started to see the shift where people that didn't play baseball went to lacrosse for the summertime. And it was just a crazy dynamic.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, lacrosse is an interesting sport, but definitely not as interesting as baseball to me.
I think it's only in upstate New York, though, or like the New York area. Like
it's
back
definitely
out west,
not in Connecticut.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely not in Connecticut. That's so weird that it's just that area, but
Yeah.
That's super interesting. You just knew you wanted to play baseball.
Definitely. I think my parents and my cousins, they sort of guide me that way as well, though.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That family influence, I feel like, is there for a lot of people, for sure.
Without a doubt. And growing up, like I said, I was a big Yankee fan. And in the late 90s, early 2000s, they were the best team in baseball, winning all the time. And as a fan, you love seeing your favorite team win championships.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I definitely understand that. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It was a good time for you to grow up as a Yankees fan.
Without a doubt, it was awesome. And the Derek Jeter documentary was just on TV this last month or so. So being able to watch that and sort of you live through what was going on during that doc. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, I haven't finished it yet. I've watched about half of it, and I have the rest of the episodes recorded, and I haven't gotten a chance to finish it.
Yeah, I watched the finale last night, and I was like, that was one good doc.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to finish it. It's really good so far. But yeah, obviously as a Yankees fan, looking up to somebody like him was probably somebody that I would imagine you looked up to.
Oh, without doubt. And just seeing sort of the backstory of what was going on during New York City at that time, not only from a baseball perspective, but from a lifestyle perspective, it's pretty eye-opening. And it's just so different how it used to be back in the 90s, early 2000s. There was no cell phones. There was none of that. The whole thing of baseball and lifestyle was completely different. So it was crazy.
Yeah, it's so interesting to think about how different it is now compared to back
then. Without a doubt. There's no cell phones. People used to have to call each other off hotel phones and stuff. That's like unheard of.
Yeah, even when I was growing up and my friends had to call my parents' landline just to talk to me.
You had to call the house number. You had to memorize the number.
Yeah.
I still remember some of my best friends from home's parents' numbers.
Yeah, it was so weird. Yeah, because we'd have the phone book to look up people's numbers.
Literally.
I know my friends' parents' numbers. It was so weird.
Now it's like you don't even know your friends' numbers because you just click their name and you call them or text them.
Yeah, exactly. If one of my best
changed.
friends asked what their number is, I'd have no idea.
No clue whatsoever. I know their area code, and that's probably about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's so strange. It's definitely so strange. But yeah, I know you mentioned Derek Jeter was one of your favorite players. Who were some of your other favorite players growing up that you looked up to?
I like Paul O'Neill on the Yankees. I like Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez. All those 90 Yankee teams were just, like I said, when you win, how can you not like everybody on the team? I mean, Joe Torre is their manager. It was just a real special time to be a fan.
Yeah, it's so true. It's kind of like I'm obsessed with the 2004 Red Sox team.
Exactly. Like you feel like you're part of the team. You know everybody's name and everything. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, those were such good times, such good classic baseball players that played during that time.
And that was the thing too. The rivalry between the Red Sox and Yankees back in the 2000s was like unmatched. I think that's one of the reasons like everybody sort of fell in love with the game and fell in love with the rivalry, because you saw how much passion was between those two teams, and both teams were so competitive and so good, and each and every year they could either one of them could win the World Series.
Yeah, it's so true. It's unfortunately not the case now, but it was definitely when it was just the Red Sox and Yankees every year. It just strengthened the rivalry.
Absolutely, it was awesome.
But yeah, no, that's so fun. Well, I know obviously we went to the same school, which is super cool. I mean, I loved Ithaca. It's a great school.
Yeah, it's the best.
Shout out to them. What made you choose Ithaca College for school?
So I went to a bunch of Ithaca baseball camps as like a middle school kid. My mom, my friend, my mom would sign me up for them. I go with my friends all the time. And then it was probably my junior or senior year. I only had a few offers between Oswego and Ithaca. And I wanted to go to Cortland at the time, but Cortland didn't let me in their school academically, which I don't know how I got into Ithaca, but not Cortland. They told me I could be a walk-on for baseball. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to Cortland then. And my mom was like, will you just go to Ithaca, go on a visit, try it out? Because I really didn't want to go there because I'd been to all the camps and everything, and I wanted to sort of branch out a little bit. So I went on the visit, and I fell in love with it right away. And like they say, mothers know best. So I ended up going to Ithaca, and it ended up being one of the best decisions of my life. And as you know, Ithaca is just gorgeous. I mean, the time I had there was unbelievable. The friends I have, lifelong friends, still talk to them this day. So, I mean, is one of the best decisions of my life. So I got to thank my mom for that.
Yeah, same with me. My mom actually, when I was touring colleges, she really, really liked Ithaca and kept saying, I think this would be a great school for you. And I just feel like that's so funny because she knew at the time, because then when I chose it, I was like, wow, I couldn't really have seen myself anywhere else. I loved it there.
It's unbelievable. I think parents sort of see the whole big perspective of it. They see how beautiful the campus is. They see the town. They see everything about it. And I guess they knew what's best for us.
Yep, it's so true. So credit to our moms for that.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I know. I mean, the baseball program is pretty good at Ithaca too, and so I know it's obviously with it being D3, where there are challenges from that standpoint. Coming from a D3 school to be able to be noticed and be scouted for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, definitely a little bit, but I think, like you said, the program with the coaching staff there, they put us in such a good position to get to where we are today. And fortunately, we had a good team, successful, a winning team, and without my teammates helping me get there and coaching staff, like it wouldn't be possible without all of them. So without them, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I feel like their program is reputable for a D3 program, and people know Ithaca and people know the athletic programs there.
Exactly.
So I feel like that definitely can help people.
I think that too is one of the decisions that when I went there, I was like, okay, this program is a very good D3 program, even though it is D3. Like people sort of view D3 like it's not as good as everything, but then you go there and it's run like a D1 program. It's run like a minor league baseball program, and it's like, this place is just as good, if not better, than a bunch of other D1 schools. And that's no respect to other D1 schools, but it's like the coaching staff and everything. They just did such a good job to make it a great experience and a successful experience.
Yeah, for sure. I always enjoyed watching the Ithaca baseball team. They were always really good when I was there.
Not even just baseball, too. Like all the sports there are very competitive at everything, and I think that's just the Ithaca way. They do it that way.
Yeah, basketball, football, it's they definitely lacrosse also. They had a lacrosse.
I know that the girls basketball team was really good when I was there, like going to the finals or whatever. So I mean, every sport there is always competitive, and I think that's rare at schools, having every single sports program be competitive.
It is, yeah, and I feel like that's why Ithaca's athletes come in and it's D3, but they might almost be better than the D3 level because Ithaca kind of has higher standards for athletes
without a doubt
than other D3 schools do.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think it was cool too because it allowed you to have like a social life, a school life, and a sports life. Like you weren't entrenched in all school, all sports. You were able to sort of sprinkle in a little of everything, and that made it really fun too.
Yeah, because you still want to be able to have your college experience.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
That's one of the biggest reasons you're there too, not just for your sport.
Absolutely. And that definitely allowed it. And like we were saying, it was just a really unbelievable experience there at Ithaca.
Yeah. No, I love it. I miss it a lot sometimes too. But
I know.
Really
Have you been back at all?
I have not actually. No,
Really?
I want to go back for alumni weekend at some point though.
I know. I always want to go back, but baseball's always going on, so I can't.
Yeah.
But I heard they redid the Commons. Like they're all completely done. Yeah.
That's so cool.
What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2018.
Were they were like still doing
Oh yeah,
construction?
there was a ton of construction there at that point. I haven't seen them since they finished.
Yeah, they started the construction when I was there. My first year was 2010, and it was literally going on all 3 years I was there. I went back there for a baseball camp in like 2016 or 17. It was still going on, and one of my buddies texted me and said that, hey, they finally finished the Common. I was like, it's been 10 years. It's about time.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know. I need to see that now because now I need to see it without all the construction there.
It's probably gorgeous.
Oh, it probably is. They probably did a really good job with it. But yeah, every time I would walk through there, I was like, this seems to be taking forever. It seems like there's no progress that's been made.
But at least they finally finished.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. It was a really great college town too. Just a great place to go to school.
Absolutely. And then even down in the Commons, you could go up to Cornell. I mean, there was just so much going on. It was awesome.
Yeah, just with especially with Cornell also there, just the whole city of Ithaca really had just a college feel. It was super cool.
I wonder the summers there's got to be like nobody there.
Yeah,
it's got to be empty.
Weird. It's so weird. Yeah, I was never there over the summer, but it was always so interesting to think about how that place is probably pretty vacant in the summer.
It's probably it's a ghost town during the summertime, and then once all the kids come back, probably right around right now, everyone's probably coming back, and then it's live there.
Yeah, it's so fun. Which is so fun though, and it's so cool to have been able to go there because Ithaca's a special place.
Absolutely, the experience there. I mean, it's unmatched to any place else in the country.
Yeah. What did you major in there?
I was in business. I still have 1 year left to go. I got to finish that online eventually, but I was business, and concentration was either going to be marketing or finance.
Nice.
I've been waiting like 10 years now to pick what my concentration is going to be, so I got a little more time.
That's funny. Yeah, that's really cool. I was in the park school.
Yeah, you enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it was awesome. They had a great program for that too.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Aren't a bunch of people like on ESPN and stuff from there and everything, and go out to a bunch of different news spots? Like,
yeah, I used to work at ESPN actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I used to work there. So.
The networking from Ithaca is insane. Like even playing all over the country, you see and hear from different people from Ithaca, and it's like, I can't believe you went here too. Like we're in Seattle, Washington, or we're down in LA. It's like, what the heck? Or like we're in St. Louis. It's like literally every part of the country, there's somebody from Ithaca College there in some way, shape, or form.
So true. It's so true. They're everywhere.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's like everyone thinks it's just such a little small school in the middle of New York. It's like, no, it's expanding, and there's great networking there.
There really, really is. That's one of the biggest reasons I chose that school. And then obviously it was beneficial because I was working at my first job out of college was at ESPN. So it really was definitely a good experience to have.
Was that a good, like you enjoyed that experience? Like, was it cool?
I did. Yeah. I really, really did. Yeah. And then unfortunately they laid off a bunch of people during COVID, and I was part of that. So that was unfortunate.
This podcast is going to be like a recruiting video to come to Ithaca.
Yeah,
we're saying all the good things about it.
People are going to be listening to it. They're going to be like, wow, I should go to Ithaca College.
Absolutely. They're going to get the enrollment up after this.
Yeah, they better thank us for that.
I know. We should get a little percentage of it as recruiters.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, we'll take credit for that if they just see a skyrocket in there.
Absolutely.
Honestly, though, yeah, it was a great school, though. It really was, and obviously, it benefited you because you're doing what you want to be doing too. And I feel like that's really cool to kind of see you doing what you always probably thrived to be doing when you were a kid.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, just being in Ithaca sort of laid the groundwork for where I am today, and without Ithaca friends, coaches, the experience there, like I wouldn't be where I am right now.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's awesome. And then obviously, you get drafted, and there's obviously a bunch of challenges that come with even making it to the majors, because so many people I feel like go through the system and they don't actually get there. which is tough. It's really tough to see that happen to people, for multiple reasons. And so what did you find for you personally were the biggest challenges that came with all of that to finally get to that major league level and get that call up the first time?
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to where you have to perform, and you gotta do well to keep moving up each level. The process of the minor leagues it's long, it's grueling. I mean, it's tough, but like I said about Ithaca, fortunately, I was put with a lot of good people that helped me get to the next step each step of the way. And I mean, the support system from my family and friends, that I wouldn't be where I am without them as well in this situation. I mean, even through good times and bad times, they've always been there. And fortunately was able to make it up and trying to continue this career as long as possible.
Yeah, I know it's definitely, obviously, because there's so much you have to go through, so many different levels within the minors to even get to where you want to go. So I can imagine during that process, there can be some really tough times, and it's a lot of pressure because you constantly have to prove yourself at those levels,
Yeah, and minor league baseball, it's like I don't think people realize that it's like there's like 6 different levels before the big leagues. Like there's rookie ball, there's A ball, there's high A ball, there's double A, there's triple A, there's summer leagues, there's fall leagues. There's so many different leagues. So, I mean, like I was saying before, the support system is something that you definitely need to get where you want to be.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's so important. And I feel like mentally too, there's probably a huge mental aspect of, if you have a bad game or something, you have to just brush it off and just move on to the next one.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think you sort of start developing stronger mental skills as you go up throughout the system from a younger age to an older age. You learn to deal with failures, you learn to deal with successes, and it's a roller coaster, but at the same time, you have to stay even keeled and have a neutral mindset, which is hard to do. But you sort of realize that when you got your teammates there that you can sort of bounce ideas off of. And if you can't talk to them, you can talk to your family members, you can talk to your friends, and it just you can't do it on your own. You need other people to help support you and get you to that next step, get you to that next day. And that's what makes baseball great, though. I mean, it's a new game every single day, which is rare. But, I mean, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's going to remember a bad game you had months ago if you are continuing to perform and have good games going forward after that.
Exactly. Like I said, it's a roller coaster, but just staying even keeled and get to the next day and continue to work hard, and things will work out.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's definitely obviously a super tough sport to play, but it's cool when people are able to get to that level and maintain that success while they're there, because that definitely cannot be easy.
Yeah, without a doubt. And like I was saying, just seeing how other people handle failures, how other people handle success, I think that you can use other people's experience to see how they're handling certain situations, sort of use it for yourself and evolve as a player and as a human being, mentally and physically.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I know for you, you've kind of been, with different teams.
Yeah.
And so what is it like for you to be part of the Yankees organization with how successful they are, like we were talking about before, with all their championships and just how reputable of an organization they are and such a big fan base they have, and just for you especially, even since you grew up a Yankees fan?
Yeah. My goal every single time I get to the field or if I'm playing the game is help the team win. I feel like if you do that and you're going to put yourself in position to be the best you can be, you can't go out there and try to overdo things. Like I'm not going to go out there and hit 4 home runs in the game. Like that'd just be trying too hard. You're probably swinging and missing. So anyway, it can help the team win, whether it's starting a game, whether it's coming off the bench, whether it's just playing an inning of defense or pinch running. That's what I'm willing to do. And I feel like when you're trying to help the team in any way that you can, everything else will take over.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I feel like it's just Yankees fans are so everywhere pretty much. There's Yankees fans all over the place, all over the country. So even when you guys go to
they're like Ithaca fans all over.
It's so true, literally all over the place. Those New Yorkers are just kind of everywhere, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I feel like even when you go on the road to games, there's a lot of Yankees fans.
Oh yeah, road games are almost like home games at this point because there's so many Yankee fans that come on the road. But I think the main thing that solves everything for Yankee fans is winning. If you win, they're fine with that. So just whatever you can do to help the team win, that's all that matters. And that it's sort of crazy to think about because as a young kid in the late 90s to early 2000s, the only thing I expected was the Yankees to win. So I'm part of the reason that everyone's like this because winning is everything.
Yeah, because Yankees fans, when they don't win, they get really, really flustered and
Yeah,
they don't like
it's not pretty.
Yeah, no, that's funny though. Yeah, I feel like, and the atmosphere of Yankee Stadium, like, what's that like? Because I've been to games there, and it's always really, really packed, and they are super passionate about their team. So, what is that like? Like, is it hard to block out some of the kind of crowd and things that they're saying during games, or is it you just don't even really hear anybody?
I think you sort of just got to lock in. You don't really know what's going on the outside. You're in between the lines of baseball, and that's somebody once told me that it's like the lines of baseball never change. The distance between the bases never change when you're in between the lines of baseball. Like baseball is baseball. It doesn't matter whether you're in rookie ball, whether you're in the major leagues. So just going out there and trying to win and help the team, you're gonna have success and you're gonna have fun with it. I think the fans what makes it fun when you're doing something successful and they're cheering for you like that. That's awesome. And it's not only at Yankee Stadium but on the road too. Like fans booing you when you do something good. That's great too. I mean, the whole experience is just surreal.
Yeah, like opposing fan bases booing players when they do.
Yeah, if you get a hit, they boo you. That's great. That means you did your job. It's awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that probably. I feel like that probably fuels more positive energy in players too. They're like, "Oh, I'm being booed. That means I did a good thing for my team."
Exactly. And like this weekend playing at Fenway for the first time, like that one of the biggest rivalries in not only baseball but all the sports. Like you get the fans yelling at you, booing you. And it's like good. That's a good thing if you're hearing those boos from the opposing fans.
Yeah, I know exactly. I mean, that's such a fun environment to be in, the Red Sox-Yankees type of game setting. And
Yeah.
me as a fan, I mean, I've been to a lot of games at Fenway, obviously, because that's my team.
Yeah.
But going to a Red Sox-Yankee game is definitely different because it always has playoff vibes, kind of. The atmosphere feels like a playoff
Absolutely.
game.
You can just feel the energy. You can feel the buzz in the stadium, and it doesn't matter if one team's in first place and one team's in last. If two teams are very close, that rivalry is always very intense, and it's fun to play in.
Like even this year, I mean, that's the case this year. And still, though, the teams always manage to play each other really, really close, and those are close games most of the time.
Without a doubt, you get that divisional rivalry where throughout the last 120 years, the Yankees and the Red Sox have played 30, 40 times a year, plus in the playoffs. So I mean, it's awesome. The experience of it was awesome, but hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, I mean, for you, that must have been a cool first experience at Fenway, though, because Fenway is such a historic ballpark, that there's just so much
Yeah,
history there.
it's so unique compared to all other stadiums just because of how old it is and being able to be on the field and just seeing the different dimensions of the wall, seeing the uh, green monster for the first time, like very very unique. But it's one of baseball's best stadiums.
Yeah, that series obviously was pretty fun too because the whole series was really close games.
Yeah,
And those are the types of games that people go there to see. People don't want to really go and see blowouts. I mean, they love it if their team
yeah,
blows out the other team, but when people go to games to watch live, they want to see a close game, you
yeah.
know?
That was like the perfect setup. A weekend series in August, summertime, Yankees, Red Sox. I mean, it was the perfect setup for the fans and for us as players.
Yeah. And I mean that I was at the Saturday game, but people who were at the Friday game said that was pretty cool too because they got to see a walk off, and that type of environment is electric.
Yeah,
And
they were happy seeing the walk off. We weren't though.
yeah, no, yeah, I mean, I was happy,
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I know. I feel like that's there's just a different energy. I feel like that comes with those games than if you're playing a different team.
yeah. And I think it's just feeling like the rivalry is actually happening. Like you can talk about it all as you want, but when you get into it, it's almost like war. You know what I mean? Like you're getting into it between two teams.
Yeah, and Boston and New York, I feel like are such hard markets to play in too, because people have high expectations for the players there.
Yeah,
I mean, the fans definitely have really high expectations for players in those markets, and that's why you sometimes see like that market not being a good fit for a certain player, but then they thrive
yeah.
somewhere else just because there's so much pressure that comes with playing for either of those two teams.
Yeah, it's just the expectation to win at all times. I mean, both teams have tasted championships, multiple championships, so that's what they expect year in and year out, and that's what makes it fun though. Is you that's what you want. You want fans to want you to win every single night and care about their team with passion.
Yeah. And that's why, I mean, even I know just from just talking to people and everything, and just hearing player interviews from Red Sox players, Yankees players, they're always talking about how great the fan base is and how it helps fuel them to win games when they're at games, and they feed off of that energy from people.
100%. Like we were saying, the buzz in the stadium, the energy in the stadium, it gets you up and it gets you going.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. I think that's so cool. And when I saw that you were going to be playing in that series at Fenway, I was like, oh yeah, is this probably his first time playing at Fenway? That was
I went there this offseason when I was traded to the Red Sox and was able to just look around the stadium, experience some stuff there. But that was my first time actually on the field in a game, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. Yeah, and then I was bummed that you didn't actually get to play games for the Red Sox. But
I know that's all right though. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all working out.
And I mean, you're doing well in New York, so
yes, thank you. It's been awesome.
Yeah. How would you describe kind of the atmosphere in the clubhouse with the team? Because I feel like the Yankees, and the way that they kind of, from what I see when they're playing games, it seems like everybody's really close knit in their clubhouse, and like from a management standpoint to a player standpoint. Like, would you say that's the case?
Yeah, I just think that everybody's just so down to earth, and people like view people that they're up higher on a pedestal, and that's not the case at all. Everybody on this team is just so down to earth and friendly, and everyone's just a human being hanging out, having a good time. And I think that's what makes a good team is good chemistry in the clubhouse, good chemistry on the field. The good chemistry off the field is what leads to good chemistry on the field, and that's been the case so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a really good season. I know right now they're struggling a little bit, but how do teams kind of get through something like that? Because it seems like they just, they've lost a lot of games recently, and it just seems like it's vastly different how they look now compared to how they looked kind of pre-All-Star break type thing. So what kind of happens in the clubhouse to kind of get through struggles like that?
Yeah, like we were saying, it's a long season, roller coaster baseball. I mean, it's 162 games. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon. You're going to have your ups and downs here and there, but it's just you got to stop the downs when they're happening. And I think that's where we're at right now. And we're going to turn it around and get hot for September and October, and in the postseason. That's when the fun really begins. So it's exciting to look forward to that. But we'll get out of this little rut we're in right now and move forward.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's I feel like the Red Sox kind of caught them at a good time because they were struggling at that specific time when they did come to Fenway. It's obviously every team goes through struggles like that because, like you said, it's such a long season. No team is going to play really good baseball all season consistently. It doesn't happen. Every team kind of goes through slumps like that. And I know some of my friends who are Yankees fans are saying, well, the season's over because we're just not playing well. But it's actually better that it's happening now for them than if it were happening. This was the end of September and this was happening.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if this was the end of September, the panic button would be hit right now. So we just got to turn it around. I think we're going to do that. Got a game tonight. So like we were saying, baseball, it's a new day every day. So tonight, maybe we'll start the 10-game winning streak, and then everyone will forget about this.
I mean, I hope not, but
yeah, you hope not. We hope so.
The fans will forgive you guys if you start winning games again.
Yeah, just got to get right back on track.
But yeah, and then who do you guys play tonight?
We are playing. I don't even know. Oh, we're playing the Rays. The Rays.
Oh yeah, that's right, because you played
3 games against the Rays, 3 games against the Blue Jays. So it's like the whole. We went Red Sox, Rays, Blue Jays. Play the whole AL East.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
A lot of divisional rivalries.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true. What do you find? In terms of this season, what teams have you found personally to be the hardest teams to play against? Like for you personally, not necessarily the team, but like for you, are there certain teams that you feel like you've struggled against more?
I think that we get the best of every single team we play every night because they know they're playing the Yankees. Yeah. So we're getting their A game every single night. It doesn't matter if it's a day game, if it's a night game. It doesn't matter at all. Everyone's always out to beat the Yankees, and that's something that as a player you sort of got to relish and take advantage of the opportunity. And when you beat them, it makes it a little sweeter.
Yeah. I mean, because people are always going to put their best guys out there when they're playing really good teams like the Yankees or the Astros or the Dodgers.
Definitely.
Teams like that, they're going to put their best. They're going to try to put their best pitchers out there. If it
Yeah.
works out, they're going to try to do that. They're going to try to just come out there with the best lineup that they can if they're playing a team like that. And from a pitching standpoint, if you're pitching for a team like the Yankees, you have to know you're going to be facing good hitters for that team that you're going to be playing against, because they're going to put their best lineup that they have.
No doubt about that. But that's sort of, you want those opportunities. You want their best, because to be the best, you got to beat the best. So it's fun.
Yeah. No, and another thing I've always been curious about is, does it get in players' heads if they get traded? Because I mean, I know for some people, if they've been playing for a certain team for a lot of their career and then they get traded, it's upsetting for them. Like, I know Christian Vasquez got traded from the Red Sox at the trade deadline, and he looked really, really upset about it because he spent his entire career in the Red Sox organization, and now he's playing with the Astros. And is that hard for a player to adjust to getting traded and kind of basically upping your whole life and moving somewhere midway through the season?
I think getting traded during a season is definitely more difficult than in the off season. It's just the aspect of, you're in one location, you don't really know that a trade's coming, and the next thing you know, bam, you're out to a different state. You got to find housing, you got to find everything. You got to make new friends, you got to get comfortable with people, new coaching staff. So it's just a lot of change. But when you're able to sort of go to a team that's competing for a playoffs and a world championship, I think that helps, because the group of guys sort of come together and try to embrace you as one, and that definitely helps. But from an off-field perspective, it's definitely difficult having to go find new housing, new friends, and get acquainted with everybody. But competing for a championship, there's nothing better.
Yeah, I feel like it's obviously there's some logistical stuff that's tough, but then once you realize I could genuinely win a championship with this team, then you're kind of like, I need to come together with these group of guys, because that's all of our goal at the end of the day.
That's exactly what it is. And I feel like that's what great teams do. They embrace the new guys that are getting traded in.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's just so much pressure in general with switching teams, because, if you were playing really well with a certain team and then you get traded somewhere, who knows if you're going to be as successful with that team, because I feel like environment is a big thing and circumstances. And so you have to hope that when people do get traded, that they do find success in their next place, because that's just a bummer if they were thriving somewhere and then they get
there's just a lot of different dynamics that go into when you get traded. But I think if you're able to get off to a hot start with that new team that you get traded to, that definitely helps ease the tension and makes you more comfortable quicker.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I feel like, I know you spent some time with the Dodgers is there a big difference between playing in the National League versus playing in the American League? Because I've always wondered that, because it seems like when I watch National League games, sometimes it's just a different environment, and it's just, they just kind of play the game differently.
So this year is the first year that they have the DH in both leagues. And before that, I would say that the AL and NL were two completely different games. And now it's back to the AL and NL are pretty similar. But when you had the pitcher hitting versus the DH hitting, the game's completely different from, I think from a manager perspective, especially because there's just so many more changes in the NL. There's so much more pinch hitting. There was double switches. There was defensive replacements. And I think that was probably a lot more difficult for managers to handle. And bench players had to be ready from the first pitch of the game and on, because you never knew when you were in the game. So now that there's a DH in the AL and NL, it sort of made it even again. But before that, it was a completely different game.
That's so weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, because you were in the NL for a while.
Yeah.
And so I was always curious kind of what that transition was like.
Yeah, there were situations where you're like pinch hitting in the second or third inning because the pitcher's throwing too many pitches, or you're double switching because the pitcher has to come out of the game. You're pinch running, but then staying in the game. There's just a lot of different dynamics in the AL. Or in the NL. In the NL is a lot of different dynamics.
That's so strange to think about, though, because it's like it's all the same game, but it's just not.
Completely different.
I am happy that they have a DH in the NL now too, because I like the consistency.
It definitely helps. I think it was hard for pitchers to be throwing and then come in and have to hit. I know there was a few injuries there, and you never want to see anybody get hurt, especially pitchers who are out there to pitch, not really in there to hit.
Yeah, it's awful seeing injuries. It really, really is. Like I remember when the Red Sox were playing the Yankees and Chris Sale got hurt in the first inning, and you could hear the sound of the ball hitting that pinky that got hurt.
That was
tough
crazy.
To see something like that.
I was on deck and I saw the ball get hit, and then he just started walking off the field and his pinky was all messed up. I was like, oh my goodness, it was bad.
Yeah, no, that's the unfortunate thing too, is and especially for players like him with everything he's been through and in his career too. And he had Tommy John and then came back and then now it's out again. It's just really, really tough to see that happen. And with pitchers, that risk of injuries is always there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And because how hard all other baseball guys work to get back, especially guys that have been injured, what it takes to have to come back from an injury, and to see somebody get injured after being injured, it hurts.
Yeah, no, that absolutely does. That's the thing that is unfortunate about baseball, but obviously, it comes with
it's part of the game, though. You just got to learn to deal with it and sort of get when it's coming.
Yeah, no, it's so true. It is part of the game. When you're on deck, speaking of that, is there anything that kind of is going through your head when you're getting ready to kind of step into the batter's box, or to prep yourself for that at bat in terms of what that pitcher might throw or anything like that?
Yeah, I'd say that when you're on deck, you sort of just try to get your timing down with the pitcher throwing to the batter before you. So you'll take
watching what's going on.
Yeah, so you'll take practice at bats against the pitcher, imaginary bats against the pitcher throwing to the other guy. It's crazy to say that out loud, but that's what you do. You just get your timing down, and when you get up there, it's like you already saw it.
That's so interesting. So yeah, you're kind of doing it as he's throwing.
Exactly, and you'll see if you watch a game, you'll see guys in the on deck circle. They'll try to get their timing exactly with the pitcher as the hitter hitting is. You got to next time you go to the game, watch it. You'll see it. You'll get loose, and then the next few pitches, you're just waiting, trying to time up the pitcher. I'd say 80% of guys do that, maybe more.
Wow. No, that's definitely something I'm gonna watch for now, because on TV they don't really show the person on deck that much. Really, it would be more of you'd have to see it when you're at a game.
Yeah, exactly. So next time you go, you check it out. You'll be like, wow, I didn't even realize that.
That's so cool. That's so cool to think about. And I can't imagine how hard that must be, how little time you have to decide if you want to swing at that pitch or not. Because some people are always like, why did he not swing at that pitch? But it's so hard, I feel like, because you have so minimal time to decide if that pitch is going to be in the strike zone or not.
It's very difficult. Hitting's hard, but I think that's what makes it so fun, is you just can never perfect hitting, but you're always trying to. And that's the constant battle every single day. It's like, I'm going to get hitting down. I'm going to get hitting down. I'm going to get hitting down. And nobody has ever gotten hitting down. If you think about it, the best players are successful 3 out of 10 times. And that's
it's so
insane.
So if you think about the best hitters in baseball right now, 3 out of 10 times seems like a lot, because it's more than average, but even so, it's like, you think about it, they still have so many more failures when they're at the plate.
Definitely. And if you're 3 out of 10 hitting 300, you're an all-star. You're one of the best players in the league. So being able to try to perfect that swing is the number one thing.
Yeah. Do you think that hitting is significantly harder than fielding, or does fielding have its challenges too?
Ooh, fielding's hard too, because I feel like there's not really many bad fielders in baseball. You have to be a good fielder if you want to stay in the lineup. And me personally, I sort of pride myself in playing defense and running the bases and stealing. So that's something that I work on almost every single day. But at the same time, you have to be able to hit if you want to stay in the lineup. So there's definitely challenges to both, without a doubt. I'm not saying defense is easy by any means, because that's difficult too, especially with the way some of these guys hit the ball. I mean, they're hitting the ball 110, 115 miles per hour nowadays. It's crazy.
Yeah, that ball's cranked out to that outfield.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Going that fast, that's not easy to catch it. I feel like it looks easier than it actually is.
Yeah, outfielders, infielders, catchers. I mean, defense is, if not just as important as hitting, could be more important, because you got to stop the other team from scoring runs.
Yeah, and I feel like there are certain ballparks, Fenway being one of them, I feel like that it's really hard to play defense there.
Yeah,
that was really hard to play in that outfield.
That was something I noticed, was center field, right field, left field, all those positioning in the outfield are completely different than any other outfield in baseball. I mean, left field, you got the Green Monster. Center field, you have that 420 out in dead center with that weird fence dimensions. And then right field, you got 290 to the pesky pole, and then you got a bullpen in the corner. It's like, and then you got that up the little fence there. I mean, it's crazy, but that's what makes Fenway so cool and unique.
Yeah, no, it really is, and that's why I feel like it's so cool when players are really good at playing in the outfield there, because it really is a tough place to play defense in it with how it's set up back there.
Yeah, you need the experience there, and I think in batting practice, if you're taking balls off the bat from guys hitting during batting practice, I think that helps just to see the ball off the bat a little bit.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, for sure. It is a cool place. I love Fenway. I mean, obviously I'm a Red Sox fan, so I would hope I like Fenway. But I know people from other fan bases who are just like, Fenway is one of my favorite places.
Yeah, it's an experience for people to go there and see it, just because it's so different from all other ballparks.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, I know with managers, how much interaction do you really get with Aaron Boone on a day-to-day basis when you're playing in games?
You'll say what's up to him and stuff. You'll have little conversations before the game, during bat practice and stuff. During the game, he'll let you know when you're going into the game. But during the game, it's really everybody's sort of locked into their own zone, and everyone knows their job and responsibilities. But before the game, you have some interaction and conversation.
So it's not really much during the game, though?
During the game, no, not really that much.
Okay. I've always been curious, because sometimes I'll see managers like talking in the dugout to players during games. And I've always wondered if that happens often or just not. Really.
Well, I mean, if different situations arises where something happens, he'll definitely come up to you and talk to you about some stuff. But I mean, we're not asking each other where you're going for dinner after the game and stuff like that.
Well, that'd be weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Focus on the game of being like, oh, like what restaurant?
Exactly. So you try to just stay in your zone and know your responsibilities during the game.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I feel like if it's a game, so say it's a game where your team is getting like blown out, like how do you just stay focused for the rest of that game to be like, well, we're obviously probably not going to win this game, but we have to just keep playing anyway.
Well, that's the thing too. Like if you're not in the lineup on a game when you're losing by a lot or winning by a lot, usually they start to put in the guys that are on the bench, and that's sort of like your opportunity. So you just got to stay locked in and try to get a hit, try to get on base, play good defense. So, I mean, you're never actually mentally out of the game. You're always locked in, no matter the score, no matter the inning.
Yeah, because it's like if you're on the bench that day, they might bring you in a late inning to pinch hit.
Exactly, and you want to perform. I mean, sometimes you don't get that many opportunities, so you want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's always interesting because I'm like, yeah, if a team's down like, I don't know, 13-2 or something, and it's like the sixth inning, and it's like, well, then what do you do? Like, you have to keep playing, but the motivation is probably a little bit different than if it's a close game and you're down 3-2.
That's what makes it difficult. You got to stay locked in. Somehow you got to find a way mentally, just stay locked in no matter the score. It's hard to do, but I mean, you have to. You got no other choice.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, with it being such a long season, obviously every team's going to have games like that.
Definitely. I mean, 162 games from April to the end of November. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so weird to think about how many games there actually really are.
It's long, and that's not including spring training, which starts in February.
Yeah, it's almost a year-round thing. It really is.
But like I said, they wouldn't want to be doing anything else. It's a lot of fun, and I love it.
Yeah, and being able to just do what you love. And this is what you've been doing since you were like 4, you said.
Yeah.
So it must be cool to really be doing that at the big league level now, with so many people watching and so many people who love that team and love to see them win games, and being able to be a part of that success with them.
Yeah, that's like trying to perfect the swing. It's been 25 years I've been trying, and a lot of other people have been trying, and no one's figured it out yet. But you do whatever you can to try to get on base, and that's all that matters, and score some runs.
Yeah, I know. Out of the teams that you played for, would you say the Yankees are your favorite, or were there things about each team that you liked?
I think there's definitely things about every team that you play for. I mean, different parts of my career, different situations. I mean, there's definitely pros and cons to everything. But I mean, I'm happy where I am right now, and the number one goal is to win a World Series this year, and that's what I'm going to try to help the Yankees do.
Yeah, you having
I
that
know,
World
I know
Series.
you wouldn't like that as a Red Sox fan, but I mean,
I would not, but my dad would because he likes.
yeah.
So he's a Yankees fan. So we've gone to Red Sox Yankees games together. He was at that game Saturday
Oh, he
too.
was nice.
Yeah. So it's fun. It was fun growing up and having that rivalry within our house.
That's exactly what it
Between
is. Like, not even the rivalry between the Yankees and Red Sox. It helps like families, friends come together and sort of you feel the energy.
Yeah, I have a group chat with my dad and my cousins, and my dad and one of my cousins like the Yankees, and me and my other cousins like the Red Sox. So we're always going back and forth in that group chat.
That's the best. That's what makes it so special.
Yeah, I know, and that's why it's like we are happy that both teams exist, or else the rivalry wouldn't be a thing.
And they've been around since the 1900s, early 1900s, which is insane to think about. That Fenway's been there since then.
I know, isn't that crazy? It's so weird, and they haven't changed it. It's authentic.
That was something cool too. Just the history of Fenway being on the field. It's like Babe Ruth was on the field. All the famous Yankees: Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Ted Williams for the Red Sox. Like it's crazy.
All at that exact place, like that exact location.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah. Do you have a favorite ballpark you've played at? Major League ballpark?
I'm biased to Yankee Stadium. I hit my first home run there in 2019.
I remember
so that made it special. And then being able to play there now, I'm biased. I mean, I grew up going to those games, going to that stadium. So
I remember you hitting your first home run there.
Yeah, with the Diamondbacks, and it all comes full circle. Now I'm on the Yankees, so definitely Yankee Stadium has been number one.
It's kind of cool though. Like I remember that, and I was like, you hit your first home run at Yankee Stadium, but you weren't even a Yankee at that point.
That's why
we were with Arizona at that point. And
everything comes full circle, and everything happens for a reason. So it was meant to be.
Right. Yeah. Though that's so cool. I love that. That's super cool. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm always rooting for you as a fellow Ithaca Bomber, and it's so cool to see the success that you've had and just kind of, representing our school well.
Thank you. I appreciate that coming from a Red Sox fan too. That means a lot.
It's tough. It's definitely tough. The whole Yankees thing was tough to get past, but I'll always root for you individually, no matter what team you're playing for. I might not root for the team that you're on, but I will root for you as a person.
That's fair. Ithaca runs deep.
Right. I mean, you had a really, really good. You were playing really, really well against the Red Sox last time that they played each other when the Yankees smoked the Red Sox.
Yeah. Were you rooting for me there at least? Were you rooting for me there at least? Because that was a blowout.
I was rooting for you, but not the team.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I remember that was that series that Chris Sale got hurt. I remember you had a really, really good game in one of those series. And I remember I put that on Twitter that you were like representing Ithaca College well, and Yankees fans were like, what are you talking about? Like, you're a Red Sox fan. I was like, yeah, but I'll always root for him as a player no matter where he goes.
Absolutely. That goes back to Ithaca. Like, this is going to be the recruiting video for him, that Ithaca runs together no matter what.
Like, Ithaca runs deep no matter what it is. And it's like, yeah, it's definitely tough for me seeing those pinstripes, but I'll always root for you to succeed as an individual in baseball, no matter where you're playing.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
But yeah, I appreciate you coming on this show with me. It really was a cool conversation. There was so much that I was curious about that you helped me out with here. So
definitely, we can do it again sometime, maybe at the end of the year. If we win a World Series afterwards, we'll do one. But you'll have to wear a Yankee hat on it if we win the World Series.
I don't think I can do that.
With the Boston sign in the background too? Yeah, with the Boston sign in the background.
Yeah, I know. I should have worn a Red Sox hat for this.
No.
I would have to. I literally don't have a Yankees hat. I literally would have to borrow one from my dad, which I'm not going to do.
You'll have to have him buy you one. Definitely.
But yeah, we'll definitely have to do it again. At some point, we'll be in touch. But good luck tonight too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tonight, maybe.
Thank you. I'm glad we were able to figure this out and get it all worked out.
Yeah, me too. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and everyone else as well. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And I obviously have to say go Red Sox because that is what I am about. But go Tim Locastro too.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Have a great day, everyone.